Coil whine. The most annoying noise you can hear when you're gaming. It's that high-pitched electrical noise that you just heard. Coil whine is caused from the electronic vibrations in your graphics card. So as the power usage of the card goes up, generally the more coil whine you will hear. Don't worry, this is completely normal, and in most cases you'll probably find that manufacturers aren't willing to RMA or take a look at a card with coil whine. But there are a couple of ways we can minimize or even eliminate the noise altogether. My ASRock RX 9070 XT Tai Chi is the main culprit here. While I'm gaming, this guy is crying like there is no tomorrow. Let's start with the obvious things that you can change in your environment. The first thing I tried is putting on the side panel. Most of you guys have probably already done this, but for me it reduced the noise slightly. Now the second thing you can do is moving your PC further away from you or wearing over-ear closed back headphones. Cool, that didn't work, let's move on. In terms of software, there are a few changes that we can make. At this point, I would highly recommend loading up a game that has a consistent background. For example, in Warframe, the coil whine is produced when I'm standing still in the ship, or in Valorant, when I have my FPS uncapped in the shooting range. This will make it easier to determine whether the coil whine has been reduced or not. In the game you are playing, find the menu option for frame rate limit. In the game Warframe, for example, setting my frame rate cap to 165 almost eliminates the sound entirely for me. Anything above that or uncapped produces a loud coil whine. You can also cap your FPS using Reba Tuner or NVIDIA Control Panel if the option is not available in-game. The next option is to try VSync, FreeSync, or G-Sync. Now VSync is not ideal in some scenarios, like competitive shooters such as Valorant or CSGO. But if you want to try it, it is usually an in-game setting that will allow you to turn VSync on. Keep in mind that VSync can add some delay in some circumstances. You will need to enable G-Sync or FreeSync in your monitor first before you see these upcoming settings in your PC. They'll be called something like game mode or overdrive. You might just have to search up what it's called to enable it. If you don't want to enable VSync, enabling FreeSync or Adaptive Sync in the AMD Radeon settings, or if you're on NVIDIA via the NVIDIA app or control panel, for G-Sync may help in reducing the noise as well as matching your monitor's refresh rate to what your graphics card is actually outputting. Alright, that didn't work either. Now for some undervolting. Undervolting your graphics card will help with the power usage of the graphics card and in turn hopefully reducing the coil whine. Undervolting is the process of getting your graphics card to use less power but producing the same amount of frames that you see on screen. Undervolting a graphics card is pretty easy and can be done on Windows through MSI Afterburner for NVIDIA or the AMD Adrenalin software for AMD. With a slight undervolt, my RX 9070 XT's noise is reduced a bit. You might have to tweak settings to get them stable. I'll leave some good tutorials on undervolting in the description below. Let's just take a quick look at some sound samples. I apologize in advance, there is some slight static coming from my microphone. As you guys probably heard, there is a pretty big difference when I'm turning frame cap on in Warframe, and as you guys can see on the graph here as well, the frame cap was pretty effective in bringing the decibel down, as well as the audio sample that you guys heard. Of course, the most effective thing for me was using a frame rate cap, undervolt, and the side panel on, but just take these with a little bit of a grain of salt in terms of decibels, because I'm not sure if my noise reader could hear all of the high-pitched whining that was coming from the graphics card, but that's exactly why I included some noise samples for you guys. Lastly, if you really want to, you could change the power supply to see if it helps in your PC. But just keep in mind that this may not make a difference and is the most expensive route. For myself, I actually tried this with my RX 9070 XT. I went from an RMX 750 watt power supply to a Corsair RMX 1000 watt power supply, but I didn't really notice any difference in terms of coil whine noise from my graphics card. The other option is trying a different wall plug outlet in your room or a different room, although this one might have some mixed results. I did find as well the most effective way to reduce the coil whine is to use a combination of methods. So putting on the side panel for the case, as well as having an FPS cap in game, and having an undervolt running at the same time. All of those things pretty much eliminated the coil whine for me across multiple games. Hopefully you're living without that painful noise now and less headaches from your PC. Subscribe if you're into PC gaming or tech. Check out wisetech.org for some more awesome written articles. But other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.